shows. Every scene's a high and low. You'll unwind.
This is JordangeVision. Pull up a seat and kick up your feet. Welcome, guys. How we doing? It's time for another episode of The People vs. OJ Simpson. We are on episodes 5 now. So what happened last time? Basically, the trial finally got started. We got the jury selection. We got the plea from OJ. We met the judge, Judge Lance Ito, for the first time. Something about him that we'll probably have to keep an eye on later. He gave his a form to his wife, who's a police officer. You know, she had to tick down if she knew any of the names that are on this list, and she looked very, very hard at the name Mark Furman before saying, no, I don't know anybody. Judge Ito was able to submit that form and officially be the judge of the case, but I'm sure that is going to come up later. The other main theme of episode 4 was kind of the infighting within the defense team. Like Bob Shapiro kind of got everything started. He was the head attorney from the start. Eventually, Johnny Cochran joined the team as well. But Bob did it on the kind of quid pro quo, I guess, that he remain head attorney. Like, he give all the speeches, he do all the discussions about race and all that. And Johnny Cochran doesn't like that. Why is this white guy, Bob Shapiro, who Johnny Cochran thinks is, you know, too ignorant to talk about this stuff, and, you know, he's probably right. When Bob Shapiro went on vacation, Johnny Cochran kind of took over, and I'm sure that issue is going to continue in episode 5 here, based on what I see that the title is. So without further ado, I've done enough talking. Let's get into The People vs. OJ Simpson, episode 5. Here we go. Before I get started, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and don't forget, reacting to art is sharing art. Channels like these benefit everyone from the viewers all the way up to the original creators themselves. Also, a reminder, spoilers are likely, so if you haven't seen this episode yet and would like to, please feel free to click off and take care of that first. I'll be here when you get back. For those of you who are sticking with me, pull up a seat, kick up your feet. This is The People vs. OJ Simpson, episode 5, titled The Race Card. Here we go.
But Daddy,
1982.
I sit up front on the way, and she sits up front on the way back.
It's not fair that one gets to sit in the front seats and no one can. Oh. Okay, I see where this is going.
What do we say to the police?
Nothing.
And who talks to the police?
Our lawyer.
He's gonna
That's
let them
right.
train. Why are you touching your gun?
Just taking my daughters to dinner. May I ask why you pulled me over?
You seem to change the lanes without signaling 2 blocks back.
You seem to.
This is the 3rd time this week someone's pulled me over for no reason.
Tell him, Johnny.
Is this your vehicle?
No, it's Carrot Top's
Let me go in
vehicle.
the glove.
Sir?
Look, I know the drill. I'm black. I'm driving in a fancy white neighborhood, nice car. You pull me over. So leave my children out of it. Thank you.
Sir, out of the car now.
Come on.
Oh,
Kidding
he doesn't
me.
like that.
Sir, because of your hostile attitude, I'm gonna have to cuff you.
Having a hostile attitude is not a crime.
Please, and call it in. Find out who I am. If you don't take this opportunity for yourself, I guarantee you will regret it.
This is why Johnny Cochran should be giving the speeches.
In 5 minutes. Okay?
5 minutes might be optimistic, but let's hope. And everyone's staring like, oh, he must be a criminal.
Turn around. Have a nice night, Mr. Assistant District Attorney.
Yeah, now he's all polite.
Let's go get some burgers. I'm starving.
Daddy, what did he say to you?
Yeah, they're
I'm just
shaking
going
up.
to-
Daddy, did he call you?
He didn't have to. And don't you girls ever use that word. Ever.
Did it with his eyes, I guess.
And we want to pray with our member and friend, Johnny Cochran, who is litigating the O.J. Simpson case.
And from the present now.
We pray for Johnny Cochran as he accepts this challenge to litigate the O.J. trial. King Jesus listens when we pray.
Does Jesus think OJ did it?
Great. Now Jesus is on their side too.
Hard to beat that. Choir sounds nice, though.
It's obvious to me Mr. Darden is being used as a tool by the DA's office because he's black.
What's your response to that?
I appreciate your concern, but I refuse to be in the same room with a particular individual, and I think you know why.
No, I don't. I don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's basically quitting on them.
Source who leaked it to the New York Daily News that I was in over my head, that I was steamrolled, that it's inflammatory, it's a lie.
Tell me.
He kinda was.
There he is.
Judas.
I suppose that makes you Jesus? Why don't you blow it out your ass, Bob?
Jesus is everywhere in this episode.
We begin with domestic violence. We have 62 instances of Simpson beating,
62?
degrading, and stalking Nicole over
didn't
the
know it was
course
that
of their
many.
7.
Everything starts with the plaintive wail of the Akita.
I'm guessing everyone's aware their bombshell witness is a dog.
There was
Dogs are always honest, right?
The physical evidence is overwhelming. There's mountains of it. Frankly,
Yeah,
it's
physical
more hard
evidence is still
than
pretty
I've ever
strong.
seen.
The haphazard manner in which the evidence was collected and handled gives us a significant advantage.
That's what they're going on.
Officers, we're here to tell a story.
Yeah.
Our job is to tell that story better than the other side tells theirs.
Welcome to litigation, folks. This is Chewbacca.
I'll take the dog bark witnesses, the cops at the crime scene, Woody and Rock. You obviously have DNA. And Chris, you've got Vanatter and Furman.
Yeah, that got his attention. Reacting like you asked him to clean toilets.
What?
Nothing. Let's get to work.
At least he's being professional, I guess.
Mark Furman.
Chris Darden, have a seat.
Is Bill Hodgman's office still on this floor?
It's upstairs. You know Bill?
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Bit of a history, eh?
That's fine. Are you gonna be putting me up?
If that's not a problem.
I imagine that's not for me to decide, but I definitely don't have a problem with it.
You might eventually.
You should know the defense plans to raise some incidents from your past. Allegations of things you said. They're gonna come at you.
What type of incidents?
We've seen them.
Oh, I think you know.
They're gonna claim you're a racist.
That's not going to be an issue with me. I ask around. I work with black cops every day.
I have a black friend.
To get
And pause just says everything.
Guy's not right. I get a really bad vibe from him.
Chris, no one's asking you to date him. Just prep him.
He's one of those people that thinks that you can't see how he really feels because he acts polite.
You're people like that, and then you think.
Am I out of line saying you're bringing a preconception to this because you're black?
Maybe.
I understand that this guy has had his troubles, but his psych records have been ruled inadmissible. So we are not panicking, and we are not going to let the police go on trial here.
See how that goes, I guess.
Do whatever is necessary to make him come across as credible.
Put a paper bag over his head? That's all I can think of that would do that.
I'm lucky I write for a magazine that allows me to take a stand, Your Honor.
Well, there's no mistaking how you feel.
I think I know who that is.
You'll be next to the Goldmans, and the seat is yours for the length of the trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Without being too forward, I sense that you'll be able to sympathize with them in a way that the rest of us cannot.
His daughter was murdered, too. His daughter was the older sister from Poltergeist.
Murder?
Apologize for dredging up what I imagine is a deeply painful memory, but I felt it was important that you know why.
Probably would have figured it out, but yeah.
The trial of Dominique's killer was torture enough. But then the way he got off with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I haven't seen a whole lot of true crime on that case, but I've read about it, and disgusting murder and disgusting
Hey, you're a Hollywood guy.
half conviction.
I know that.
These guys are still going. Both sides. They're right in each other's megaphones.
That press conference you gave about me, that was a cheap shot. It was unfair and beneath the both of us as professionals. It's my sincere hope that we can agree from this point forward to treat each other with respect.
Brother, I ain't trying to be respectful. I'm trying to win.
Again, litigation.
We have submitted a motion to exclude all 62 allegations of domestic violence.
Is that going to work?
Nor is it an inquiry into the characteristics and personality of Mr. Simpson. Evidence
Kind of is.
submitted.
The defendant's character and prior history are the point. Let's do a hypothetical.
Exactly.
Let's pretend that we're not even going to tell the jury that Nicole and Mr. Simpson were married. Our jurors would naturally ask, why would O.J. Simpson kill a perfect stranger?
Exactly. You can't leave the stuff out. You can probably figure it out with the same last names, but...
Detective Furman's gonna play a very small role in this case. But we believe when he's called to the stand, we're gonna be forced to go back 15-odd years to ask him about completely irrelevant statements that people have claimed he's made.
Yeah,
Now,
you
these
can't ignore these
statements,
either.
They're going to ask him if he made a racial slur or repeated a racial epithet. But why ask? Oh,
Because he did?
legal. The N-word is a dirty, filthy word, Your Honor.
I think that's the one thing both sides agree on.
When you mention that word to this jury, it will blind them to the truth. They won't be able to discern what's true and what's not.
I mean, you can't think exactly
So
like
people
that,
strongly allow
but it will
that
create a
vile
response.
word.
I would be remiss if I did not respond to my good friend, Mr. Chris Darden.
Okay, what's Johnny got to say?
It is preposterous to say that African Americans collectively are so emotionally unstable that they cannot hear offensive words without losing their moral sense of right and wrong.
Go, Johnny.
They live with offensive words, offensive looks, offensive treatment every day.
It's amazing how much they hear it. It doesn't make that right, of course, but...
African Americans are offended at this very moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a friend that I deeply respect, I would say this was outlandish, unfortunate, and unwarranted.
The word's gonna come up, but as a jury, yeah, you still have to pick which side you believe is the right side, you know. Everyone just stares at him.
76% of African Americans do not believe Darden was doing a good job.
Paul,
76%.
no one's doing press, Chris. If I had to respond every time some crabapple said something about me, you're just gonna do more harm, drawing attention to yourself. DAs don't go on talk shows. It's a sensitive case. No press.
This case has a ton of press, though, so...
Marsha, you have had a rough couple of weeks. We're not changing our trial strategy because of it. Toughen up.
Can I share
Be easy,
something
have
with
Johnny
you?
Cochran in your head.
In the 70s, when I was in law school, affirmative action was a big deal.
I remember.
No, you don't. You're white. I had the
She remembers,
grades to
but
get
not the
into
way he
that
does.
school. But every time I entered a classroom, I felt like people were staring at me. Or worthy
People were staring at him
persons.
5 minutes ago.
And Johnny's out there trashing me in front of every TV camera he can find.
But he's wrong.
Is he?
You're gonna help us win. And Johnny can go screw himself.
At the LAPD is a blunders in blue operation.
Mm.
No.
No, it sounds like you're trying to be funny.
Baby, I'm not trying to be funny.
But that's what
Yeah, a
it
little
sounds
bit.
like, honey.
Try something else. Okay.
The evidence collected by the LAPD was contaminated, compromised, and corrupted.
Oh, baby.
That's it.
I'm glad you're on this.
It's like it's my destiny, baby.
It pretty much was, eh?
Well, destiny has a powerful attraction.
What you doing?
I closed my book.
No, you
Who knew lawyer talk could be so sexy?
Ooh.
Oh, that'll kill the mood.
What time is it? Are you still at work?
You're kidding.
All right. Go ahead. What you got?
What?
Shapiro's staff messed up and didn't submit 12 of our witnesses into discovery.
Oh, really?
You're gonna have to remove those names out of your opening statement tomorrow, Johnny. I'm sorry to do this to you.
I'm not removing those names, brother.
That's Shapiro's screw up.
There comes a time when you got to fall on your sword for your client. Tomorrow is your day.
Why am I not surprised that Shapiro screwed up? I hope he wasn't doing that to get back at Johnny, but, you know, either way, that's messed up.
Come on, Bob. Pretend we're at the Oscars.
Walk the red carpet. Talk to Joan Rivers. Who are you wearing?
We've watched O.J. Simpson win the Heisman Trophy.
I don't
We've
think you watched
him
that.
in movies and commercials.
Yeah, now you know who he
We
is.
think, but like many public men, he also has a private side.
Yeah, we all do.
The face of a batterer, the abuser, the murderer. The blood found on the glove recovered at Rockingham matches the defendant. Found in the Bronco matches a mixture of the defendant, Ron Goldman, and Nicole Brown.
All the tricks the defense have. You can't argue with that kind of evidence.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Great quote.
But let me talk about those witnesses the prosecution didn't mention. Witnesses who will exonerate O.J. Simpson.
What's this guy talking about?
Mary Ann Gershon, or Rosa Lopez, or Joe Stellini.
They're looking like, who are these people?
Or,
I hesitate to interrupt another lawyer's opening statement, but it appears that for some reason, these witnesses have not been turned over to the people.
For some Shapiro reason.
Maybe we should excuse the jury bailiff.
Yeah, they're gonna have to talk about this.
This is a complete surprise, a horrible breakdown. The people have not received reciprocal discovery.
Counsel, can you address these issues?
Shapiro did it.
Try.
Mr. Hodgman, why don't you take a few deep breaths?
Give me a few minutes, Your Honor. I need to slow myself down a bit.
It gets heated in the courtroom. It really does.
Mr. Douglas.
I have some documents that I do intend to give over to the people. I tell the court with all seriousness that I'm embarrassed by this and take full responsibility.
You're appreciative
Threw
that Mr.
Shapiro
Douglas
under the
has taken
bus.
full people have been denied their right to a fair trial. Forgive me, Your Honor. I'm not quite.
No. Is he having a stroke? What? Did this happen?
Somebody call 911!
I don't remember hearing about this. This is something I'm gonna have to look up when I'm done this episode.
Why don't we adjourn for the day? Court will resume at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We now stand in recess.
I was not expecting that at all.
Gil, you have to trust me. The team will pick up the slack.
So
We've
it's
got
all
a
Marcia
good
and
group.
Chris.
Look, I think Chris is ready to step up. He is.
Yeah.
He took
Give Chris
Johnny's
the
best
workload.
shot. Listen, Bill isn't coming back.
What? Wow, that's terrible.
You can
Who's
have to
gonna
expect
say?
that.
We talked this afternoon, and I told him the best way forward would be to elevate you to co-prosecutor. If you're comfortable with that.
My God, Marcia.
Are you happy?
I am.
He's a little sleepy, but
When you realize that the son of one is on trial for murdering the daughter of another, it's quite startling that they greet one another in court so warmly.
What about OJ's girlfriend Paula? She can't still be with him.
I think they were, at least at the time.
The interesting thing about Paula is she had broken up with OJ the day of
Oh, is
the
that
murders.
right?
I heard she was with Michael Bolton at the Mirage in Las Vegas that night.
All right, they got right back together as soon as it happened. Yeah.
Why did Nicole return to him again and again? I'm sure fear played a part.
Yeah, sometimes
but
it's like
I
that.
heard that her parents pushed her to reconcile with him every time they split, and that OJ set her father up with a Hertz dealership.
Yeah, sometimes it's the outside pressure, too.
Next week promises to be extraordinary. The jury will visit the crime scene and OJ.
Yeah, I do remember the crime scene visit by the jury. Oh, all the pictures, yeah.
This won't do it all.
Oh, Johnny got to do a little cleaning. Is this allowed before there's a jury visit?
Ruby's in the house. Let's go. Beautiful, beautiful. Right over the fire.
Ruby Bridges, adding some Black History stuff.
Sure looks familiar. It's on loan from the Cochran collection.
It's some of Johnny's stuff. Like, OJ's gonna get there and be like, what is all this shit?
It's going to be important for us all to make a positive impression. It'll be the only time they see you outside the courtroom.
You know, aside from all the football clips and movies and stuff.
But I don't want you to be surprised when you see that we've redecorated.
Redecorated? Everybody loves my house. It was in Sunset Magazine.
OJ.
Well, they haven't read that magazine. They'll notice a few differences.
How dialed in were you to the community, issues the average Black person deals with? How many Blacks did you actually consider a friend?
AC, and he's darker than I am.
I was just about to say AC.
Being nicknamed the mayor of Brentwood doesn't forge any bonds with our jury. People you need to acquit you of a double murder.
So when you're there, don't be murderous.
You gotta get it on your own. Nobody can do it for you. And I ain't never apologizing for buying a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood.
Afford a beautiful house, buy a beautiful house. Doesn't matter who you are.
You should see the house I bought my mama.
Take the jurors to that house. All right, the jury's here. I wonder if the prosecution notices all the differences too.
What happened here?
Yeah, I guess, maybe.
Why did they clear out the place?
Oh, it's totally cleared out? I guess now they're going to OJ's? Yeah, it is a little sus that they cleared Nicole's place out and...
What I'm talking about. That's the Heisman.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Getting all starstruck when he sees the Heisman. Prosecution won't like that.
Can you believe this?
I can't believe any of this. It's a complete misrepresentation. This isn't OJ.
You ever been in here before, Chris? Even OJ's like, what the hell is this?
I don't know who these people are.
The big statue's still there.
Why all of Nicole's personal effects have been removed from Bundy before the jurors have been able to see it.
That's a very good question.
This entire house has been staged. Where's the naked picture of Paula Barbieri by the bed? Oh,
You knew about that?
It's been replaced with a picture of his mother in a wheelchair.
Get off my bench. I don't want you on my bench, hear me? Shouldn't even be in my house.
I'm sorry.
You need to keep your defendant under control.
I'm amazed he got away like that.
All right.
Like, not even cuffed.
Don't do Furman. Make the white people do it.
I mean, I think that's what he wanted to begin with.
It's ridiculous that I have to deal with this kind of garbage during a trial of this magnitude. I don't know, maybe he's intimidated by me? I don't know.
You didn't want to do Furman, and now you're mad the defense attorney doesn't want you to.
And stand up for your damn self.
It is kind of what Johnny Cochran does.
Give you some good advice. Black man to black man.
I mean, it probably was good advice, but yeah.
Got any hobbies, detective?
I collect World War II memorabilia, medals mostly.
What about sports heroes?
George Foreman and Magic Johnson.
What about football players?
Have you ever unfairly targeted African Americans while on the job?
No.
Have you ever been accused of unfairly targeting African Americans?
Probably at some point. Suspects will say just about anything to get off.
There are documents, buddy.
Oh, you're saying that you've never used the N-word.
What's this got to do with the case?
Detective, have you used the word?
Has anyone told you that I've used the word?
Answer the question, detective.
I haven't. Ever.
Is he convinced? I don't know.
I'm not putting Furman on the stand. And it's not because of Johnny, and it's not because I worked SID.
Aren't we past this?
No.
He knows this guy's gonna hurt their case.
I can't control who found the glove, Chris. And the truth is, Furman will present best if you have him.
It's because I'm black.
You got another answer, Marcia?
I will take him.
What's so difficult? Just a cop on a stand.
He's not just a cop on a stand, trust me. There's the medals. Whoa, he didn't say those kind of medals. Okay, what a way to end episode 5, I guess. All right, let's talk about it. All right, guys, thank you guys for tuning into my reaction to episode 5 of The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Lots to take in there. A lot of talk about race again. Johnny Cochran has kind of taken the lead now in the defense. Bob Shapiro's kind of stepped back. Cochran did do the opening statement. We got to hear half of it before Bill, the prosecutor, collapsed. I have to read up on that because I never heard about that happening. I don't know if it happened in the courtroom or what, or if it happened somewhere else. We see the beginning of the episode, Johnny Cochran, flashback to 1982, Johnny Cochran being pulled over by a cop who was very hostile towards him, and then when they look him up and find out who he is, have a nice day, Mr. Assistant District Attorney. And that's why they want Johnny Cochran talking about that, because, you know, it's not just because he's a black man, it's because of his experience. And meanwhile, Chris Darden has kind of been put on that side of the coin, on the prosecution side. They have him dealing with Mark Furman. They have Darden kind of going at him and saying, are you a racist? Have you ever used this word? Yada, yada, yada. And, you know, he keeps denying it, but we're going to find out a little more later, I'm sure. We also were very briefly introduced to Dominic Dunn, who, if you're not sure if the show didn't make it clear who that guy is, he's an investigative journalist. His daughter was Dominique Dunn. who was an actress in Poltergeist, who was murdered by her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was convicted, but very lightly sentenced. He was out in just a few years, I believe, and ended up working in a restaurant. They had signs outside the restaurant saying, "The man who killed Dominique Dunn made your burger," or something like that. And because of that light sentence, that this man became a crime journalist, and he became a very famous one. Judge Ito elected to sit him beside the Goldmans during the entire trial, and of course, we very briefly met him in this episode, and be interesting to see what he has to say in the coming shows. The tour of the house by the jury, they toured both houses, the Nicole Brown Simpson house and the O.J. Simpson house. They had Nicole's house cleared out, so the jury couldn't really get anything from that. Like the house was completely empty. Everything was down. There's no furniture. When they get to O.J.'s house, it's all these pictures of OJ and Black history, and OJ saying, you know, I don't even know who these people are. Like, there was that one scene where Chris Darden sat down on OJ's bench, and OJ was able to get away long enough to say, hey, Chris, get off my bench. Like, he wasn't even handcuffed. It's like, I don't know if that really happened either. That's something else I'm gonna have to look up. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this episode that I'm not sure if it actually happened. You'd think a lawyer collapsing in court would have been big news, and it would have been like a big part of the story. Maybe he didn't actually collapse in the courtroom, maybe it was somewhere else, but it was interesting to see the dynamic of Cochran and Darden kind of going at it in the courtroom. Like, again, they're on opposite sides of the lawyer spectrum. Darden's a prosecutor and Johnny Cochran's a defense lawyer, but they had respect for each other, and they still kind of do, I guess. Like Johnny said, he was very disappointed because of all the respect I had for Chris Darden, that he would try to hide all the Mark Furman stuff. Maybe he's onto something, because, you know, Darden, I think, kind of knows that Mark Furman being on this case might hurt the prosecution. We saw that Shapiro made that mistake and left a bunch of witnesses off the list, and Johnny Cochran had those names in his opening statement, and that scene was kind of interrupted by the collapsing of Bill, so we didn't really see how that played out. But Shapiro is kind of taking a back seat now. Like, he's still in on everything, but Johnny Cochran has definitely taken the lead in this case. Shapiro's not happy about it, but it seems to be that way now. In any case, a very thrilling episode of the show, and can't wait to see what's next. We're halfway through the miniseries now, so episode 6 is next. That will wait till next time, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out my sports vlogging channel. And until next time, this is Jordan saying you can be productive sitting at home on your couch. All you need is a TV, a great catalog, and a vision. This has been JordangeVision. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.